He's a Palestinian activist based in Hebron, West Bank. He is a co-founder and former coordinator of the grassroots group Youth Against Settlements. Amro advocates the use of nonviolent resistance and civil disobedience to fight the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territories. In 2010, he was declared Human Rights Defender of the Year in Palestine by the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. I have a little blurb from the New York Times, and I just want to give a quick preface. The New York Times is awful. It uses a lot of passive voice when it wants to talk about the 50 or 60,000 Palestinian dead, never naming the orchestrator of the violence visited upon the Palestinians, especially in their headlines. But there are rare moments where they are very good at their descriptions, and this is what the New York Times had to say about Brother Issa. He is a Palestinian activist, a man who for decades has urged his followers, whether in viral online videos or in speeches before the leaders at the United Nations, to take the path of nonviolent resistance forged by Mohandas K. Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. That path, difficult in any environment, is a notably challenging one in the West Bank. Since Israel conquered the region in 1967, its military has forbidden nearly every form of protest, even things as small as gathering more than 10 people for a political conversation or simply waving the Palestinian flag. The Israeli authorities, and even sometimes the West Bank's Palestinian ones, have rarely viewed his actions as legitimate political activity. He has been arrested more times than he can count, evicted from his home for weeks-long stretches, shot in both legs, and arraigned by both Israeli military courts and the Palestinian Authority on charges ranging from participating in an assembly without a permit to causing, quote, strife and insulting the higher authorities. Please join me again in welcoming Brother Issa.
I like to stand when I speak. I don't like to sit, as a kind of respect and to feel the energy. I want to thank Michal, and I want to thank the organizers, and I want to thank the students for their courage to keep organizing events and actions against the intimidation of the other students, against the injustice and the inequality which Palestinian people are facing, and even the students here. I started my activism as a student, and to be very honest, my personal dreams were to become a professor in engineering. That was my personal dream. And that was my parents, you know the parents, they push us in a certain way. Even they put dreams in our brains. So my parents put dreams for many reasons, because we don't have a lot of time. But I want to say that I was following that. I got to the engineering college in Palestine Polytechnic University in Hebron. I was completely disconnected from politics. Nobody taught me or made me hate the Jews, nor the occupation, nor the Israelis, because my main track was education. The family main investment in Palestine, as a typical Palestinian family, is to invest a lot for education. We spend a lot on education as Palestinians, because education is a way to escape from the occupation, from the brutality, and from the hard life we live in. That's typical Palestinian family in Palestine, and I was in that track, that path. Professor in engineering, I was dreaming to study here and other universities. I was doing well as an engineering student. In my last semester, the Israeli occupation, 2003, they closed my university. So imagine that you come to the MIT in the morning, here you found a sign, Trump closed this university for good. Why? Because the students were calling for justice. And you are in your last year. My dream was really provoked. I was really completely shocked. And I went back home crying. I thought to revenge. And I was ready to revenge as an engineer. You know engineers, what they can do. Okay, do you have any engineers here? Not many.
Yeah, we do. What? No, the hands. Let's see the hands.
Okay. So we are the majority, okay? And I studied automation engineering, okay? Luckily, when I searched, what came first to me? Your movement here. The civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, anti-apartheid movement in South Africa, Gandhi. So I said, okay. I wanted to get my degree. For me, it was about education. It was not about occupation at all. With me, I want my degree. That's all. As a student, I wanted my degree. So I read a lot, I researched a lot, but I didn't find someone who is Muslim to take me to non-violence. So I searched more. I found someone. His name Badshah Khan. He's a Pakistani famous non-violence activist. So I read his book. I read his ideology. I went back to the students as the organizers here. Let's go, guys, outside the university. We organized the committee. We started campaigning. After a few months of protesting and occupying the campus, we won. The Israeli occupation, for the first time, they gave up. And they said, we are reopening the university for the students, but don't think because of Issa Amro and his gangs. I'm giving you a simple, but it was so complicated. We felt that everybody is against us as students. We had financial issues, we had some political issues with political parties, people who didn't care about us. So we had a lot of courage to continue. So Issa graduated as an engineer and as an activist. I felt, I didn't know that passion is so important as my educational degree. And from that time till now, I started, helping Palestinians to make the occupation costly, make apartheid costly. From one initiative to another initiative, to train youth, to empower the Palestinian families, to campaign, to do legal work, to go to the UN, to go to the ICC, to go everywhere as a non-violence activist. And in the beginning, it was a tactic for me. By time, and when I saw the results of my great work to bring back communities to their villages, to have video evidence of the Israeli brutality and the Israeli violence, and their reaction toward me and toward my groups, to save land, to campaign, I felt it's the best way to do it. And as a strategy, and that was the only way. And I'm the only one. I'm not the only Palestinian, and I'm not the first Palestinian who's doing non-violence resistance. New York Times, thanks to New York Times, they do sometimes good work, and we need to push them to do good work. The article came after 2022. I was arrested and ill-treated by the Israeli military for filming Israeli soldiers beating up an Israeli visitor in Hebron, Israeli Jewish visitor. Mm-hmm. So I filmed that and I published it. And one of the other soldiers, was, saying that Itamar Ben-Gvir, the Israeli National Security Minister, is a hero and he will get rid of all of you. So it was viral in the media, big deal in the media, so I was arrested because I am the weak, person in this angle. Israeli soldier and Israeli visitor who came to visit Palestinians after Hitler violence erupted during Shabbat Sarah, a Jewish holiday in Hebron. So I was arrested, ill-treated, and they really, for the first time, went to my parents' house. And my father is 85, my mother is, she's sick, she has cancer, and they really vandalized the house of my parents to revenge the soldiers. So this is how they do. If they don't catch you, they go to someone else to punish you and make your life harder and harder. But the video that time I filmed, it went viral all over. How come an Israeli soldier beats up an Israeli visitor who came to apologize from Palestinians for being attacked by Israeli fanatic and extreme settlers. So they went after me many times to shut me off. I know I have my arm, I have metal plate, my shoulder is not normal, my back is not normal. So New York Times, what they did 2022, so I was with police. They brought me back from jail to go to search my house because nobody had the keys to my house in Tel Rumeda. So I was handcuffed, with the police. I saw the spokesperson of the Israeli settlers with someone. I thought that he's Federman, that one, is very important journalist in the New York Times. And he wrote about me from the eyes of Yishai Fleischer, the Israeli settler spokesperson. So I went out from jail, I found out, I made a campaign about him, his article. I made many journalists write him. They wrote him complaining, how come you talk about Issa and about certain incidents from eyes of a Kahanist. The Kahanists, they are the ones who are following Meir Kahana, Kach movement. If you know who is Kach movement, Meir Kahana was an American Israeli politician. He was, moderate compared to the ones now in Israel. He was asking to divide the beaches inside, Israel and the 48 between Arabs and Jews, and he was calling to kill all the Arabs, transfer all the Arabs. So his Kach movement was announced here in the US as a terrorist group. When they removed them from the terrorist list, 2022 before the Israeli election. Because who's running now? It was his movement. Kach movement has a new branch. They renamed themselves to Atzma Yehudit. So they are running and they knew they are winning, so they removed them from the terrorist list. So I went to the State Department that time. I told them, how come you removed them from the terrorist list? And PLO, your friends, still there in the terrorist list. Issa, do they do any kind of violence? I told them, what? They are always everywhere doing violence, and I show you the videos. So this is how the double standards here. So my campaign, this is the point about this, my campaigning about New York Times being so biased made a huge difference. So they came to me after, I made their editorial board, all of them, I gave them a lecture. And all the time, as him who was not professional, as him, he was not professional, So really campaigning and lobbying and writing emails and protesting makes difference. Because we want Palestinian voices to be posted, to be, listened to, because we are voiceless. So the imbalance between the Palestinians and the Israelis is like that. The gap is so huge. And this is why we don't have peace, by the way. Why? The Israelis, why they do peace? Look to this. So leveling up Palestinians is very important. Palestinian voices, Palestinian education, Palestinian schools, Palestinian economy, Palestinian culture, Palestinian art, Palestinian sports. To level it up, it's one of my philosophy as a Palestinian activist in my activism and in my resistance. So that was New York Times, that when they came to Hebron, I took them around. Imagine that Fox News last week had a great reporting about the ambulances where the Israeli occupation killed 15 Palestinians, paramedics and rescuers, who went to rescue, and their report was better than New York Times. So we can, but we need to work. We need to do concrete actions and to be so stubborn in our activities and our actions. This is me. This is what I do on a daily basis. Campaign here, campaign there, train the youth, go to Palestinian universities, talk to the students, increase awareness, what can be done, how we can achieve something. And lately, many people are so disappointed, and we are tired, to be very honest, from what's going on. Many people see that whatever we do, it's not ending the war. Whatever we do, we are not welcoming, just running. The food is coming after you, so come. Okay? So many people are tired. Many people think that what they do is useless. I want to tell you, from the field, from Palestinians who are living in the ground, that everything you do, especially the students in the US, is covered in Palestine. And the Palestinians feel that they are not alone. You give them energy to stay and remain strong and firm in front of the occupation and in front of the apartheid and the inequality in Palestine. In the past, many people were telling me, Issa, it's useless what you do. Now, they shake me my hand. Issa, who's Mahmoud Khalil? Issa, your friend, we saw your friend. All people on earth are my friends in Hebron, who are outside Palestine. They see the protest in London, they see the students in MIT, they see the students in Harvard, they see the students in Columbia, other universities. Wow, we are not alone. That gives them the feeling to stay and remain, because the main conflict is about the land and the narrative. What we are fighting about, the Israelis and the Palestinians, about the land, occupation, and the narrative. You are doing great with the narrative. We are winning the narrative. 85 students from MIT supporting Mahmoud Khalil. You know what it means supporting Mahmoud Khalil? Supporting his work. 85, it's a consensus. 85 is a lot. It's not 50%. Look to the American public opinion. It's moving toward justice. It's moving toward equality. And Richard said, from the river to the sea. It means we want to be equal. It means no occupation, no racism, no injustice, no supremacy. I don't want to kill the Jews by saying this. I don't want to destroy even Israel. I want we, the Palestinians and the Israelis, have a solution based on justice, freedom, and equality of everybody. That's the solution. Not to hide other side. Not as Issa to live under the Israeli military law. You know what it means that I live under the Israeli military law? Do you know what it means, military? What is the difference between the military law and the civil law? I live in Tel Rumeida. Between me and the settlement is only a small barrier. I beat the settlers almost every day. I am under the Israeli military law, and the settlers, my neighbors, are under the Israeli civilian law. You know what was the main difference? What is the main difference? By the military law, non-violence resistance is not allowed. So they tell you it's about violence, it's about security. No. In the military system, 101, military law, non-violence resistance is not allowed. I was arrested, indicted, and convicted in the military court because of my non-violence activism. And the judge told me, Issa, I know you don't do. The military judge in the military court, which its sole purpose is to prolong and embolden the Israeli occupation. And it's Kankaro court. It was described as Kankaro court to me by the lawyer of the embassy, of American embassy in Tel Aviv. She came to witness my trial, and after the trial told me, Issa, this is Kankaro court. I didn't know what it means even that time. I am not the only Palestinian who was indicted, the Palestinian activist, in the military court because of non-violence activism. Many Palestinians were indicted. Our spokesperson spent in the last 4 years, 3 years in jail in administrative detention. In administrative detention. You know what it means, administrative detention? You are in jail and you don't know why. And you don't know when you will be released. Now in Palestine we have around 3,500 Palestinian detainees in administrative detention. We have more than 15,000 Palestinian prisoners now, but 3,500, it varies, 3,400, 300, 500, 600, but now 3,500 in administrative detention. And you don't know why. Many times the settlers asked to put me in administrative detention. My international visibility made them not to do so. But anytime they can put me in administrative detention. That's the military law. That's the military system. So when you say from the river to the sea, they should not be provoked, because Israel is from the river to the sea. According to Beit Salem and to Amnesty International, Israel is an apartheid state from the river to the sea. Who is controlling all the territories from the river to the sea? There's the occupation. This is the reality on the ground. We don't want them to say it's anti-Semitism. What is anti-Semitism? We as Palestinians, we don't want to find or to see or to work with any anti-Semite person. Our cause is clean. We don't want to depend on anti-Semite leaders, as the Israeli occupation is doing now. They are close friends of many anti-Semite leaders, and they don't care about them. The main reference, if you support the occupation or not. So this is the first thing, that non-violence resistance is not allowed, and you will be put in jail between 1 year and 10 years in jail. I was facing 10 years in jail. Me, Issa, I was indicted with 18 military charges. I was convicted by 6, then they reduced them to 4. Without my visibility, without your work, without my international friends' hard work day and night to protect me, I would stay in jail for at least 10 years. So your work really important. With someone as me, who's doing non-violence resistance and outspoken, I need you in my back. Not me, any other Palestinian. So non-violence resistance exists, but the main obstacle for non-violence resistance is the Israeli military law. The second main issue of the Israeli military law about us is that we are guilty until we are proven innocent. By law, I am guilty until I'm proven innocent. I was arrested many times after being beaten. Many times I was taken to police bleeding after being attacked by settlers. So Israeli settlers attacked me and then claim that I attacked them. So I'm guilty until I'm proven innocent. As a Palestinian, I go to the court guilty. I need to prove the opposite. That's the Israeli military system. So they work hard not to show that Palestinians have non-violence resistance history. If you go back to the 80s, there is a great film called 18 Wanted Cows. Go and watch it. It's about Palestinians in Beit Sahur protesting the Israeli products. So they wanted to arrest the cows. They do now. They arrest cows and donkeys and animals from Safar Yatta and from everywhere. So non-violence existed in our history. The first Intifada, it was non-violence resistance and popular struggle. Strikes, protests, community activism. That's the first Intifada. So we have a history in non-violence. Even the second Intifada in the beginning, it was completely non-violence resistance. What was the right of return marches in the borders of Gaza, 2015 and 16 and 17? Non-violence. The protesters in Jerusalem who went down to the streets to pray and they refused to get into the mosque because of the metal detectors at the mosque gates, Al-Aqsa Mosque. They were all non-violence. So Issa is not the hero of the Palestinian non-violence resistance. I speak English. This is the point. And I have connection with solidarity groups all over the world. But every Palestinian farmer who's protecting his land in Area C is Gandhi. Every Palestinian woman who's staying in spite of the inequality and the injustice and going after their work is a non-violence activist. So existence, I say existence is resistance for us. Education is resistance. I say, but active existence. Active. Be proactive. Try to make actions. Show visibility. Try to campaign. Try to show community. Try to make the occupation costly for the occupiers. So we do a lot as Palestinians to make the occupation costly to the occupiers. And it's really costly now. So non-violence, it's part of our traditions and principles as Palestinians. And the majority of Palestinians, they don't do violence. They don't do armed resistance. They do non-violence resistance. A typical Palestinian family, education for them is resistance. Sports is resistance. Workers, when they wake up at 3 a.m. to go to their work, to pass the checkpoints, because you spent 4 or 5 hours to pass the checkpoint to go to your work, it's non-violence activism. What is that? And campaigning. So non-violence, it's not only Issa Amro. Second, I want to say about the situation now. Many Israelis, they say, October 7th, look what they did to us. As Issa and as many Palestinians in Palestine, whom I talk to them on a daily basis. We don't justify killing Israeli civilians. It's not part of our goals. We don't want to do it. And we don't accept it, and we don't justify it. But our problem didn't start on October 7th. It started before. And October 7th had a huge impact on everybody. Me personally, on October 7th, I was kidnapped by Israeli soldiers and Israeli settlers. The settlers were my neighbors. Tortured. So I was handcuffed to the back. And to be handcuffed to the back with plastic cuffs, your arm just swallow, it gets in, it's continuous pain on the head, not in the hand even. It's crazy. Where is the physics? Somebody studying physics here. It killed me. It was pain all the time. Then they gagged me. Imagine that. They come for the first time to be gagged. I was arrested many, many times. I'm used to even to the cuffs. But that time, they tied them to the point they can't tighten it more with plastic. And for a very long time. And they blindfolded me, beating me up, hitting me, spitting at me, sexually assaulted me for 12 hours. Issa, who's a non-violence activist, who the settlers and the soldiers know, and they know my politics. I was kidnapped and tortured and sexually assaulted by Israeli soldiers and Israeli settlers who were rejoicing torturing me. They were torturing me with loud music. In the military base, it was dancing music. So I was telling the soldiers in Hebron, what are you doing? Go to Gaza. What are you doing to me? I pleased them. I begged them to release my hands. They refused. So I was sure that it's my last moment. That's what happened to me, because they put the gun on my head, started clicking on the trigger with counting to 10. It was, in the beginning I was sweating, I fainted 2 times without any medical help from them. I was shocked from their behavior. Then I was released, it's a long story, and I was shy to talk about the sexual harassment which happened to me. Then I was alone in the house, I was watching videos from many other Palestinians. So the soldiers were doing that to every Palestinian they catch. Beat them up, ill-treat them, break their hands, break their legs. They rape Palestinians. So it's a trend to do that. Then I was alone. I called my Israeli friends, the normal ones, not the activist ones. I am without food. Because I was in my house alone, and soldiers they sieged the area completely, where I live. So I'm not ready for closure, because I live with my son. I was lucky that my son was with his mother that day, and I'm not ready. I eat by day, you know. I called my friends to bring me food. I had 2 Israeli friends came. They reached my house. They beat them up, and they took the food from them and they didn't give it to me. I had another Israeli friend who sneaked in all the way to come to bring me food, and they beat him up and they confiscated the food, the soldiers. They didn't want food to come to me. Then, after a few days, they came to me and told me, Issa, army commanders, Issa, your life is in danger. We want you to leave your house for few days until the war ends. It's for your protection. We want you to be protected. We don't know what the soldiers do. I told them, you're army commanders. I'm afraid. I am afraid in my house. Yes, I need protection. But make the soldiers protect me. Not to tell me that you don't know what the soldiers will do to me. He says, okay, no, you have to leave. You go to find another house for a few days, maybe 1 week. I told him, yes, I agree. I'm ready to leave. Take me to Jerusalem. They said, what? Jerusalem. I have many Israeli friends in Jerusalem. They are ready to welcome me in their homes. There, I feel safe. They said, no, what Jerusalem? No, what Jerusalem? I told them, that's the way. I refused, and they said, okay, you stay in the house, don't leave. Don't show yourself to the soldiers. And one of them, when they were leaving, he was Arab Druze. I told him, you know what I refused to leave? He said, what? I told him, I remember 48. You told the Palestinian families to leave for a few days, till the war ends. Till now, they are waiting the few days to end. Mm-hmm. The Palestinian refugees left in 1948, in 1967, and they were told, take only the key. I told him, do you remember that? He said, no. In our memories as Palestinians, we don't forget that we were pushed out from our houses, and we are not able to come back, and we became refugees or suffering for that long without even recognizing our status. So in Gaza and in the West Bank now, when Trump is saying Palestinians should leave, go to Sinai, no way, we don't believe it again. It happened to us in 48, it happened to us in 1967, it will not happen to us in 1925. No way, no one normal Palestinian will leave and accept to be a refugee again. Maybe some people will go to study, to work, maybe they want to, but the majority of Palestinian people will not accept to be refugees again. So, after a few days of me refusing, they came and evicted me from my house. But me and my friends, we created an idea of how to document the human rights violations by video cameras. So I knew that may happen. I had a secret camera on me. When he came, the army commander, to take me out, to expel me against my will, I filmed that. It's on video. It's online even. I went to court and I won because he said something different. He told me, Issa, you are now expelled because you received journalists in your house. He accused me of receiving terrorists in my house. But he was the one who was with me when they came and evicted me. It was NBC News, Australia, with GPO card, a press card from the Israeli ministry of, who offered the foreign journalists, accreditation cards. So I won. So I came back, and they attacked the house, and they attacked me. I live in fear. And their policy is, since very long time, but now they do more. You don't feel safe. No security. No social life as a Palestinian. No services. No ambulances. No maintenance for the majority of the houses in Area C, in H2, in Hebron, the targeted areas. So in West Bank, they are forcing people to leave by this policy of you don't feel secure, nobody to protect you from settler violence or army aggression, no services, no social life, and no national identity. You are not allowed to practice your national identity as a Palestinian. Anything related to Palestine, you are arrested, or you are beaten, or you are punished as a Palestinian. So they work very hard to make our life more and more miserable, to force us to leave, to migrate from Palestine. So it's a way of ethnic cleansing. And they started after October 7th, it was there before, they started to raid Palestinian cities, Palestinian camps. Now, they destroyed almost 600 to 700 Palestinian houses in Jenin refugee camp. We have around 70 to 80,000 refugees. They were evicted from their camps in Jenin, in Tul Karim, and today they are in Nablus. In spite that Nablus didn't have any military Palestinian resistance lately. But they raided the camp, Balata camp today, and they are, sending people out. So they are going on in the West Bank. And from the beginning of the war, and Israel says, we are defending ourselves. It's defense. Defense. More than 70 new outposts. 8 of them in Area B. You know Area B, A, B, C? ABC, it's the classification of land according to Oslo. Area A under the Palestinian Authority control. Area B between Palestinian Authority, they are responsible about civilian. Israel is responsible about security. Area C, it's under the Israeli military control and civilian control. So Area A is raided by Israeli military almost every night. Area B and C, it's under the settler violence and settler outpost. Outpost, it's illegal even according to the Israeli law. Illegal according to the Israeli law. But they don't care. Israel is giving 7 billion shekel to build roads for settlements in the West Bank. They gave the outpost 350 million shekel. It's your tax money. A lot of them is coming from here. 350 million shekels to outposts. They built more than 100,000, 100 kilometers in West Bank, illegal roads. In the same time, they closed all the roads for Palestinians. We have around 900 checkpoints in the West Bank now. So movement is not happening. So to come from Hebron to go to Jericho to travel takes me 5 hours, 6 hours. Because there is no direct roads. We move between checkpoints. The majority of Palestinian cities, Palestinian towns, Palestinian villages were closed. So it affected the economy. The workers don't work in Israel anymore. And the Palestinian employees, they don't get salaries because the Israeli government doesn't give them the tax return. They doesn't give the Palestinian Authority, and they keep cutting it. So Palestinians are suffering from starvation. And then raid and violence and arrest and house demolition and building more and more settlements. House demolition had the highest number per year, 1,000 something in West Bank. So they destroy houses, they demolish structures, they go after Palestinians in Area C, they go after Palestinians in Area B. For the first time, they demolished houses in Area B. Is that for defending Israel? It's in the West Bank. It's 1967 borders. When you say from the river to the sea, they feel annoyed. But what they do, it's in the other land. It's not in their land. They got crazy because a Palestinian film got Oscar. How come Palestinians get Oscar? When I was coming back after I got the Nobel alternative Nobel Prize, Human Rights Prize, it's the Right Livelihood Prize, the soldier said, you got an alternative? He's looking at me in a way that, how come a Palestinian got Oscar or gets Nobel or they don't see that we are equal human beings. We want to be equal with them. They don't. If you want to go back to the civil rights movement, that was the fight between the black people who didn't have any right in the past, and they were discriminated with the white. Did they change the white? No. They changed the system. And this is what we want to change. We want to change the system. It's not about destroying Israel. It's not about killing the Jews. We don't want to kill the Jews. In the contrary, we, the Palestinians, we are the victims. And we know what it means, fear for the Jews. We know how the Jews suffered in the past. We are the ones who know. And the Jews should understand us. Because they lived our life. Their parents, their grandparents, they lived unequal. in their communities. Now, in my land, I'm not equal with the Israeli settler who has much more rights than me, who comes from here, from the United States, to make my life horrible. I'm gaining weight. I don't have enough sleep these days. I used to walk 10,000 steps per day. I'm walking now 10,000 steps, I mean 15,000. Yesterday I did 20,000 steps. In Palestine, it's not safe for me as an activist to walk as I want. Walking, you don't feel safe to walk. You don't feel safe to sleep. I sleep 1 hour, 2 hours. Then I wake up, 1 hour, 2 hours, and I wake up. Not only me. This is general in Palestine because of the occupation, because of apartheid, because of inequality. And Israel controls our electricity, our water, because the quantity of electricity we get in Hebron is less than what we need. We need 150 mega. They sell us 100. Water, we got much less water than what we need. In last summer, I didn't get shower every day. Why? No water. Because Israel controls the water. Israel controls import and export. Israel controls how many cows the Palestinians import. We have a certain number. I want to study it because you know how many cows we are allowed. Imagine that kind of control. That was the same with Gaza. In Gaza, it was sieged for 17 years. They were treating them less than animals. And now, not only sieging them, they openly say, the Israeli leaders, that starvation, no water, no electricity, no food in 2025. This happened in the past. And it's happening. So the history is repeating itself. Do we accept to let the history repeat itself or not? This is why it's very important now to act, and if not now, when we will act. And are we born to be selfish? Do I care only about myself? I'm very famous in my engineering as well. I do a great engineering work. I will talk to you about it now. I could live a normal life here with you, but I chose to be on the defender list. Because life is defenders, offenders as Netanyahu and Trump, and normal people who don't care about anything, and nobody mentioned them. I think you came here as defenders, as people who have passion, who cares about others, not only about themselves. This is why I really want to thank you deep from my heart. It's very important that you put yourself where you want to be. And I, as a Palestinian activist, because many people tell me, what are you doing? Leave the house, leave, you are in danger. My brother, who was an activist, and he's half Ukrainian and half Palestinian, and he went to Ukraine before the war to fix his eyes. When October 7th happened, he's very close to me. We were almost twin, you know. He told me, Issa, leave the house. I told him the house equals my life. The house we got in Hebron, Tel Rumeda, it's via activism. We send the settlers away. We protect all the land around it. So we really make difference in the ground. We create facts in the ground. He told me, Issa, your life, we need you. So me and him, we agreed that he observes the cameras in the house, the CCTV cameras, to protect me. So he used to call me, be careful, the soldiers are knocking the door, are coming, you know, he stays all night up to protect me. December 2nd, I was sleeping, I got a phone from my other brother who lives in Ukraine as well, that my other brother passed away. He got a stroke. Imagine that, he's safe somewhere else. He passed away by a stroke, and I stayed alive. I gave him all my passwords. I gave him, you know, as someone giving all his life to somebody after him. So we were stuck to get his passwords, his, you know, his belonging. That's life. Death will come to you in spite of what. So that is a lesson to me that, Issa, go on with your passion. Don't stop. And they try to add other layers of security. This is for MIT students, especially the engineering one. And the Israelis are the only nation on earth who are using now technology to intimidate people, to transfer people. So they are using artificial intelligence. They are using surveillance as a way to kill Palestinian journalists. They are using surveillance, and I have that, I'm following that, I'm researching that. The drones shooting with special systems, shooting civilians. And they are using some kind of the technology which is created here to kill civilians, to kill journalists. In Hebron, they describe it as a smart city because cameras are everywhere with face detectors, or face detection, maybe eyes detection, maybe body detection. I don't know where they reach in their technology to intimidate us. So my house, anybody comes to my house in and out at the checkpoint, they added another layer of tracking me, going after me as a Palestinian activist and as a Palestinian person. They classify us, profile us in their systems. They have a system called Blue Wolf and Red Wolf and White Wolf. And the Blue Wolf, it's an app in the mobile to know everything about you. The Red Wolf, it's another app, but it's in the computer. And they have their own cameras going after Palestinians. Amnesty International researched that systems and how Israel is using artificial intelligence everywhere on earth. They are using artificial intelligence to increase the production lines, to make the life of other people easier, except in Israel. They are using it for us. And these systems are only against Palestinians, not against violent Israeli settlers, for example. So they use the technology to intimidate Palestinians, to kill Palestinians, to transfer Palestinians. So it's an opportunity for the students here who are studying engineering and they want to do research about artificial intelligence and about surveillance to study the Israeli systems, because these systems with Trump dictatorship will come to you soon. You will see it in the streets, you will see it outside your houses. So prevent it from coming. Help us to prevent it and make it illegal according to the international law. Only China and Russia are using these systems. It's coming to the US. It's coming to the MIT students here. Outside your campus, you will have all these the systems to work against your rights, against your freedom. They will treat you as machines, as in China, not as human beings with freedom and with equality. So the systems in Palestine are really, making it harder for us to remain and stay. In spite of that, we document human rights violations. We do legal work. We train Palestinians to do storytelling. We train Palestinians about non-violence. We are very optimistic. We are becoming, strong together. We are unified, and this is my recommendation to you. Be united and accept the differences among you. The religious differences, the opinion differences, and we should be united to make the occupation costly. People say two-state solution, one-state solution. We are not there to fight about solutions. We should be united to make a movement, to make solutions possible. Now, any idea is naive to say it. Say anything. The imbalance is too high to make peace. Because why to make peace? They don't want. Why to make two-state, or why to make one state? Why? They don't need it, because they profit from the occupation. They profit from Apartheid. So be united, be together, be active, be optimistic about that. We are winning. And to be very honest, I'm happy. The Israeli Prime Minister is accused of genocide, and he is wanted to the ICC. Israel is labeled as an apartheid state. Israel is accused of genocide. Israeli settler leaders soon will be, summoned. They will be wanted by the International Criminal Court. The Israelis, they feel that the international mechanism, I call it international peacemaking mechanism, it's going after them. It's for the first time. In Palestine, we have more unity. We have people all over the world are supporting Palestinian cause. More students, more young people all over they know about Palestine. They know that Israel is the main source of generating anti-Semitism and violence. Because for us, we don't want anti-Semitism, and peace is the only way to reduce violence and anti-Semitism to minimum. This is how we want to do it. So it's very important that to know that we are doing well, we are winning, and we are in the right path toward freedom. And we, the Palestinians, are not looking for shelter and food as animals. We are looking to be treated as a nation with equality and justice and freedom for everybody. It's something very important that you should be proud of yourself. You should know that we in Palestine see you as heroes, and we need you to continue your struggle, your activities, to make us stronger. I feel much stronger. I'm alive. I'm here because of your great work. And many other Palestinian children and women, they are doing well because of your hard work, because of your smart work here, and continue. What are you doing? This is what I'm telling you. This is my message to you. This is why I came today. And thank you very much. And I know I can't compete with food. So, the pizza is, it feels that I'm ready for any questions. If you have questions.
Firstly, if you could join me in thanking Brother Issa. If you could stay, please stay, just because there's pizza. The pizza is here for you, but you could have a slice and enjoy it while you're here. We're going to go until 5:30 or so. I had a question, then we're going to open it up.
Professors always like to ask questions. Okay, go ahead.
Let's take advantage of our privilege, yes.
Something about history or something about future?
The present.
Present, okay.
We don't like to predict the future. We always look dumb when we're wrong. Historians and Middle East analysts, we often refer to Israel as a garrison state, right? It's a state founded on warfare, founded on expelling the natives through the force of arms. It has surveillance systems, as you mentioned, checkpoints everywhere, walls, and more walls. And so this is why a lot of us refer to it as a garrison state. So when someone takes up arms against Israel, like Hamas on October 7th, or any other time, in a way, those of us from the outside looking in, we feel like taking up arms against a militarized, heavily militarized state backed by the world's greatest power, the United States, and backed with the most advanced weaponry the world has ever seen, I feel like, and those of us who do this analysis work, we feel like taking up arms against Israel, it's almost as if you're playing Israel's game that Israel wants you to play. But its real fear, or the real threat, isn't a military threat. It's the non-violent threat. So, but they also have laws, like you said, the military courts that criminalizes non-violent struggle. So, I guess my question to you is, and maybe this is a weird question to ask to what the New York Times called the Palestinian Gandhi. Do you choose non-violence because you know that's Israel's Achilles heel, or do you choose non-violence because you're not just a non-violent person, or maybe a little bit of both?
Okay, it's a very important question. I started with non-violence activism to get my educational degree. It was about education. When I dug in to non-violence, I felt that it's the best strategy and the best tactics to make the occupation more costly and not to be trapped inside their game. They are waiting Palestinians to do violence, to destroy us completely. They are waiting Palestinians to use violence to justify their occupation, to justify their supremacy, to justify their apartheid. Look what they did after October 7th.
Yes.
It was not proportional to what happened in October 7th at all. But armed resistance is allowed according to the international law. Geneva Convention, it's allowed without targeting civilians, with conditions. But as Palestinians, is Is it going to help us or harm us more? Now, they are going after Jenin because few Palestinian, military resistance guys there who don't know how to use the guns. And their weapons are made from the toys, from the paintball toys. And they use tanks, helicopters, M16s, F-35 against civilian houses. So for me, I think I'm using non-violent resistance because I don't want to harm anybody. I see the human being is the most important asset on earth. And harming Israelis or harming occupiers will not help my people. In the contrary, it will damage my people by giving those occupiers who are without mercy. I was begging them on October 7th to release my hand, begging them. They refused. So it's about that what can bring us freedom. In the same time, look to Martin Luther King. He won. Gandhi won. Bacha Khan won. Mandela won. Was it 100% non-violence civil rights movement? No. Was it 100% non-violence anti-apartheid movement in South Africa? No. But we are talking about 100% organizing to non-violence. This is what we do. And it's the resistance which they can't destroy because it's a community resistance. It's not only Issa. There are hundreds of thousands of people all over the world supporting Issa's non-violence resistance. So non-violence can neutralize the brutality of the opponent. It can bring more solidarity from within and from outside. So this is why non-violence resistance is a big asset. I'm very proud of it. And when October 7th happened, and I was, summoned by the Israeli Shabak afterward to intimidate me, I told them, you see, everything you do, all the walls you do, didn't protect you. All the technology you use collapsed. Only peace with Palestinians will bring security for everybody. And China is very famous of what? Of the Chinese wall. Security. What is the most famous, one of the most famous in Chinese proverb? Where is a wall, there is a hole. To be very honest. So I told him, where is a wall, there is a hole, there are holes, not hole. So please come and sit with the Palestinians and give us equality and justice and freedom. And we are very happy to live with Jews, with equality. It's not about Jewish. It's not about Judaism. For us, we should believe in Judaism as Palestinians. And Palestine is very rich because of the diversity of Abrahamic religions. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, we all together have a lot of in common traditions, a lot of in common instructions. So religion should not be a way of dividing us. And even if you don't believe in God, it's up to you. We live in 2025. It's privacy. It's up to your religion, it's for you. And I respect your faith, not as in Israel. They go after us based on our religion. So non-violence is the secret of building a better future for everybody there. And it's the one which will bridge the gap. Not, for my opinion, not armed resistance. This is how I see it. And it doesn't mean that I take the right of anybody to use the way of resistance, but I practice it. I tell my child to do it. I'm able to do it. I want every Palestinian to do it. This is what I do. I'm not in Palestine convincing Palestinians to move from violence to non-violence. No. Very few people do armed resistance. The majority of people, if you come to West Bank, who was in West Bank? They are normal people. They don't do anything against the occupation because the price is so high. So I convince them to come to join. When I talk to Palestinian students, I go to universities to talk about what this kind of lectures. I go to universities, especially about documentation and about how to make the occupation costly and about the Israeli legal law, the rights of Palestinian people. 90% of the people there, they come to me after, Issa, it's great, this is what we want to do. Can you call my mother and convince her to let me join you? Can you call my parents? Can you come to my house? Can you come to our house? Can you talk to our family? Because my parents didn't want you to do this. My father lost his father in the 50s and he was injured in 1967 badly and almost lost his life. So I understand him. When he wanted me not to do anything related to politics, I understood him. But I was doing everything from behind him, and I blocked my mother in Facebook and social media, so not to know what I'm doing. When I used to be arrested, my brother used to tell her, Issa's traveling, I'm in jail, and he tells her I'm traveling, because I care about their feelings, I respect their feelings. So I tell them, do it without your parents know. Because something you want to do it sometimes, right things, not bad things, you do it behind your parents, no. This is me. This is how I think. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. I just wanted to add one last thing.
One question, because I want them to.
Well, definitely.
And I want them to eat it.
It's not a question. I just want to remind people that before settler colonialism in Palestine, that not only the Jews, Christians, and Muslims have a lot theologically in common, but they coexisted and they shared in each other's holidays as moments of community coming together. Everything's different now. So let's open it up to questions. Can I get hands? I hope you guys have been thinking about your questions. Sometimes you need to give them like 20 seconds to break the ice.
It's okay, I'm ready.
Questions are lined up, so I'll let you call on them. Okay,
ask any questions you want. Anything. Any question in your mind, I'm happy to answer. Yes, please.
What question?
Introduce yourself first.
I'm Andrew. I live in a neighborhood. I don't go to religion. One question for you, which is at least so far in the movement.
Were you part of the civil rights movement?
No.
Why not?
Too young, I was.
Too young.
Yes. Too young?
So,
maybe his parents.
some people have been, out of fear, have not been part of the movement, and some have been ignorant about the right thing. So, for example, you live in close proximity to Israelis who are settlers in Hebron. And my question for you is it that they don't know better, or are they fearful of going against the system because if they do that, it will have repercussions for them? If you can look in their hearts, what is motivating where they stand?
Okay, it's very important. I told you people are either defenders, as me and you are all defenders, or people who are in the middle, who don't care, they care only about their life, their personal life, entertainment, and they don't have any passion, or the offenders. They are the offenders. They are the white supremacists here. They are the ones who think they are better than anybody else, and they deserve more rights than anybody else, and they were born in a different era. Those kind of people. They exist here, by the way. They exist. They are the same mentality. Occupiers and supremacists and racists are the same people. And I don't think you can convince them. No way. You need to change the systems to make them accountable for their racism. You don't negotiate them to be less racist. Oh yeah, accept the black people a little bit. No. It's about full equal rights against their will. The settler in Hebron, they hate me, they want to see me killed. Because I'm calling for equality. How come you dare to ask for equality? You don't deserve it. I remember when I carried iPhone in Hebron, maybe a few years ago, how come you have an iPhone? I have more personal achievements, 10 times more than you. And you tell me how come I'm carrying an iPhone? So those people, those mentality, the mentality they have that they are better than other people and they were chosen by God. When I go to fight them to protect a certain Palestinian land, I tell them I have the documents that this is mine. They say, no, we have the Bible. God gave it to us. This is the argument we have with them. So no way to convince them. How you can make a change? By changing the systems. Make them accountable according to the international law. That's the way you make a change. But you don't do compromises based on your rights as a black person or based on my rights as a Palestinian. I want to be equal 100%, not 99.9999, 100% with everybody in this room. And I don't feel that I'm better than anybody else. I'm very proud of my personal achievements. He's very proud of his architecture work. She's very proud of her community achievements. This is what we can talk about, but not because she has blue eyes or white skin or black. Maybe the black in a few years they will start oppressing the white. You don't know. This is what happened in the occupied territories. The Jews who were oppressed all their life are oppressing us now. And they are playing the victim card until now. That we are the victims. Imagine that the occupiers, the oppressors, and the white supremacists accusing us as victims that we are oppressing them. It's as Trump saying about black people now. They are occupying certain companies. They are occupying certain level of power. The same mentality. Racist, they campaign together. Good people as us here, we campaign together. Okay? And normal people, they go to parties without caring about anything else in their society. They go together. This is how sorry for sorting people like that way, because it's not black and white, by the way. It's a big spectrum. But for me, to be a defender, you have to be ready to pay the price to be the leader, as Martin Luther King did, and many other people who made a huge change. Only 10%, less than 10% participated in the French Revolution. Do you know about the French Revolution? The French Revolution changed Europe. That was the milestone of the change. Because certain people in France were asking the hungry people, if you are hungry, don't have food, eat biscuits. This is what they are, because when she doesn't have food, she eats biscuits, but they don't have food. It means they don't have biscuits, This is how you want to address the mentality of your racist neighbors. You can't change them, but you can change the systems to make them accountable for their racism, so they may not, practice racism on you because of the law and because of the system. But now the system in Israel is against me and allows them to oppress me more and more. So we need to change the system. How we change the system? We don't talk about one state or two state solution now. We talk to make a movement, to be strong and go together, Jewish, Palestinians and Israelis and Americans and Christians and everybody toward the path of freedom and equality for sure. This is our main base as human beings, based on recognition that we are equal human beings first. Any more questions? How was the pizza?
You guys, we have 9 minutes left. I was wondering if there's more than one question for you to hear them all and try to answer them at once.
Yes, I'm ready. Where are the engineers?
Ila?
I'm not an engineer, but thank you so much.
We are engineers, we work together, so we are, this is why I'm asking where are the engineers?
Thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
Really wonderful. You mentioned earlier that there's some coverage in Palestine about students in the US, which always surprises me. But I was wondering if there's anything that you felt was particularly effective or visible that students have been doing here.
Before you answer, can we get another question too?
Because I don't want to forget. Okay, another question. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Will. I'm doing my MBA here at MIT Sloan. Prior to that, I was in banking.
Wow, banking. Okay.
To tell you that I don't know much about politics, so my question might be too rudimentary. But my question is, what is the end state that you see is going to be, that you see is going to be a great end place? Would it be a separate sovereign state, or would it be within the Israeli, the state of Israel right now, like a part of that would be, Palestine representative. What is the end goal that you're kind of trying to achieve is my question.
Okay. This is I will end my speech on that answer. Your question was?
Is there anything that you feel
Okay.
students have been doing that's like
Okay,
particularly?
first, thanks to social media and TikTok and Telegram and WhatsApp, which is making people communicate and without censorship. Okay, that videos and news spread widely without the censorship of New York Times, because you are not, you see them not doing enough. Okay, or the Washington Post or Fox News. Okay. People in Palestine, they spend a lot of time on social media, and they see a lot of protests here, a lot of activities and campaigns, and many people are doing great work building a school in Aida camp. You can make a concrete action to level up Palestinians, building a school, building a women's center, building a kindergarten here. So there are many people doing great work, and during the war that increased a lot. The solidarity from outside is great. There are many thousands and tens of thousands of Palestinian families in Gaza. They live from the outside aid which is coming to them. Many people are donating money to them. Okay, you see people doing great work in media too. The media is changing. I know New York Times. They never touched Palestine. They are moving. Fox News just recently. I was shocked when I saw the clip. To be very honest, I tweeted it. Okay, so really there is a huge change here. We see it in the media. Who expected that many American politicians, lawmakers, say conditional aid to Israel? Nobody. In political arena, Democrats and Republicans had a consensus to support Israel blindly. We have many voices now. If we remove back a little bit and bring another body to support certain politicians, we will make it. And we are almost there, by the way. We have many people here are there, but we want to transform their public opinion to political power. So it's your work, it's your creativity how to do it, not me. I don't know a lot about American politics, how you do it, but I tell you, don't lose hope. And everything you do, a tweet, retweet, a post on social media and Instagram makes difference. Why they go after us on social media? Because it makes difference. Why there is a censorship on Facebook? Because it makes difference. If it doesn't make difference, do you think they care? Every tweet, every social media campaign, to be very honest, I was in the military court. And the persecutor, it was in my last days in the court. And the persecution, he's an American, Israeli settler in Hebron, Lieberman. He told me, Issa, I saw a big campaign on Twitter to support you and against your trial here. I told him, did you see? I didn't see it. He said, yes, it was big. I told him, be careful, it will be about you too. They follow. Really, they follow. And last 2 years ago in February 2022, I was working with Lawrence Wright. Mm-hmm. Anybody knows who's Lawrence Wright? He's a New Yorker, very famous writer. Not in our campaign. He's a mainstream. Okay? So he was in an off-record visit to Hebron. I did many off-record visits to Republicans in Hebron. Republicans, they come and they wanted an off-record in Hebron. I don't mind. I want to show the reality to anybody. And he was in an off-record in Hebron, off-record visit. So we were working together. I was beaten and attacked by an Israeli soldier. He was there. He listened to everything. He tweeted it. With his tweet, he was showing solidarity to the soldier that he's a victim of the occupation. In spite of that, 17 million reach to the video. In his book, the story was mentioned, and the story was mentioned in the way I wanted it. And it's in the first page. He's moving. So Peter Beinart, you know Peter, where he was a few years ago and where he is now. Many people are moving, but we need to believe that the people will change. Should believe that people they change. And there is a good part in everybody, except the racist and the supremacist. There is no good part in them. Okay? So really, everything you do, people appreciate it and see it, and it's a guide of motivation for them to stay and remain, because I really support the resilience of Palestinian families, and my activism is based on keeping the people in their land. Because the other part is working very hard to make their life miserable and make them leave. So I counter that. They do they do surveillance, I do counter surveillance. So be optimistic, keep doing what are you doing, be creative, be flexible, and be united, and be connected to your community here. Build a community resistance. This is the beauty of nonviolence resistance. It's a community resistance. Everybody has a role. The last question. Are we finishing? Yeah, I say it loud. One state solution is the best solution. And the state will not be Israel and not Palestine. We, Palestinians, Israelis, Jews, Christians, Muslims, will do a referendum and choose a new name. Maybe it will be Palestine, maybe it will be Israel, maybe it will be another name. Based on equality. Because any country, regardless of its name, that we live together, based on equality and freedom and justice of everybody, that's the best solution. They want two-state solution, let's do the international law with two-state solution according to the international law. So Palestinians are open. Palestinians are divided between solutions, not between taking more land. The Israelis are divided between taking more land and killing more Palestinians, and the Palestinians are divided about peace. But we all want peace. But do we talk about solutions now? No. Why? If we say 3 states, 2 states, 1 state, 1 small house for Palestine, the occupiers don't want anything. They don't want solutions. So we divide our movement about solutions. Because it's not about finding the idea of solution. It's about finding the way which will lead us to solution. We want to define the methodology of our research first. You don't go to the conclusion. You define your methodology first. The methodology we want to use, non-violence, global movement for freedom and against apartheid, against racism, against inequality, against injustice. And it's not a conflict. Don't be trapped. It's not two-side fighting. It's occupation, occupiers, occupied people, oppressor and oppressed people. There is no 2 sides. There is no Hamas and Israel. What is Israel and what is Hamas? It's a small party. You know, Israel is a nuclear country. They have all the weapons on earth. And Palestinians, they are tiny, violent groups here or there. The content is much bigger than how they want to describe it. And if we remove Hamas, and remove Issa, and remove all of us who they think that we are their enemy, will Palestinians have peace? I asked this question to many Israelis. Normal, typical Israelis. They said no. So we are not the problem. The problem is the supremacy. It's the racism. It's the inequality who they think about it. They think that they deserve all rights and we don't. So we work in creating a movement, a strong movement, to free the Palestinians and to free the Israelis from their occupiers. Because you have many good Israelis. They have very good hearts. Do they talk? No. Do they act? Very little. So our movement is to save everybody and to make equality possible to everybody. This is the Palestinian movement for freedom. This is what he meant from the river to the sea. Did you mean something else? For sure, no. It's not anti-Semitism. It's the Semitism itself. It is the right thing to do. Thank you very much.
Brother Issa, I think you sang for your supper, so you should eat now. And then if you're gonna hang out, I'm sure people will want to come talk to you. But thank you again for everything. I know it's not easy. I know talking about this is is emotional labor for you. It's taxing, it's exhausting, but we are honored to have you here at MIT. We are honored to listen to you and your words of affirmation and your encouragement, and we're blessed to have shared this space with you. Thank you again.
Thank you, and I hope the MIT students will be the leader of the students' movement against the Israeli apartheid and occupation. You are the one who I like, because I'm from engineering background, so MIT is closer to me. I'm going back to Harvard now, but you should beat them up and be more active than them.